My wife secretly paid for her ex's vacation from our business. I fired her from the company and served her divorce papers. I'm 38, male, and for the past decade, I've been running a small but successful construction business. I built it from scratch, pouring my heart, soul, and every waking hour into making it thrive. It wasn't easy, but by sticking to my principles, hard work, honesty, and treating clients right, I managed to grow the business into something I was truly proud of. A few years ago, I married my wife, who I'll call W. At first, everything seemed great. She was supportive of my work and even expressed interest in helping out. Wanting to share my success with her, I brought her into the company, giving her a role in managing finances and client relations. It felt like the right thing to do. After all, what's better than building a future together? But looking back, I should have been more cautious. It started with small things. W would occasionally make decisions without consulting me, like signing off on unnecessary expenses or prioritizing less important clients because they were friends. At first, I let it slide, thinking she was just learning the ropes. But as time went on, her behavior became more erratic. She'd make excuses for missing deadlines, blame others for her mistakes, and even brush off my concerns with dismissive comments like, "Don't stress, it's not a big deal." One day, while going over the company's monthly expenses, I noticed a strange transaction. Several $1,000s had been transferred to a travel agency. Confused, I asked W about it. "Oh, that's for a corporate retreat I'm planning," she said smoothly. "It's important for team morale." "Team morale?" I asked, skeptical. "Since when do we do retreats? And why wasn't I consulted?" She shrugged. "I wanted it to be a surprise." "Don't worry, it's all under control." Something about her response didn't sit right with me, but I decided to let it go for the moment. However, my unease only grew when similar transactions started appearing in the following weeks. Hotels, flights, fancy restaurants, all labeled as business expenses. I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. The turning point came when I received an anonymous email. The sender claimed to have evidence that W had been using company funds for personal reasons, and not just any personal reasons. Attached to the email were photos of W on vacation with another man. My blood ran cold as I scrolled through the images. Beaches, luxury resorts, dinners at expensive restaurants, all paid for with my hard-earned money. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. The man in the photos was W's ex-boyfriend. It wasn't just the betrayal that stung, it was the audacity. She had taken the money I had earned through years of hard work and used it to fund a lavish getaway for her ex. I decided not to confront her immediately. Instead, I needed solid proof of what was going on. Over the next week, I quietly went through company accounts, invoices, and correspondence. What I found was worse than I'd imagined. W had been siphoning money for months, disguising the transactions as business-related. Not only that, but she had also manipulated payroll records to cover up her tracks. One evening, I decided to test her. "Hey, W," I said casually. "I was thinking we should tighten the budget a bit. Some of these recent expenses seem excessive." She barely looked up from her phone. "Relax, everything's fine. You worry too much?" Still, I pressed, "It might be good to go over the books together, just to make sure we're on the same page." Her demeanor shifted. "Why the sudden interest in the books? Don't you trust me?" "I do," I said, lying through my teeth. "I just think it's responsible to stay on top of things." Her eyes narrowed, but she didn't say anything. That was when I knew she was hiding something. The next day, I hired a forensic accountant to dig deeper into the company's finances. The results were damning. W had funneled over $50,000 into personal expenses, including luxury vacations, jewelry, and even gifts for her ex. She had used the company credit card, falsified invoices, and lied about the nature of the transactions. Armed with this evidence, I knew it was time to take action. That evening, I confronted her. "We need to talk," I said, setting the documents on the table. "What's this?" she asked, her tone defensive. "Proof," I said. "Proof that you've been stealing from the company." Her face went pale. "I don't know what you're talking about." "Don't lie to me, W," I snapped. I have records of every transaction, every flight, every hotel, every meal, all paid for with company money. And the kicker? You weren't alone. You took your ex with you. She opened her mouth to protest, but no words came out. For the first time, she looked genuinely scared. Her expression quickly shifted from fear to defiance. So what if I did? She snapped. You're always so busy with work. You barely notice me. I deserved a break. And it's not like the company is struggling. I couldn't believe her audacity. You think that justifies stealing from me? From the business I built with my own hands? You used my money to pamper your ex, and you think that's okay. She crossed her arms, doubling down. You're overreacting. It's not like you're broke. You can afford it. That's not the point. I shouted. This isn't about the money. It's about your lies, your betrayal. You used me, W. For a moment, she looked like she was about to apologize, but then her entitlement flared up again. Fine, she said. If you're so upset, I'll pay it back. But don't expect me to grovel. I only did this because you've been neglecting me. That was the final straw. Neglecting you? I repeated, incredulous. I brought you into my business. I trusted you. And this is how you repay me? She rolled her eyes. Whatever. If you can't handle a little mistake, maybe we shouldn't be married. Maybe we shouldn't, I said coldly. In fact, we won't be. Consider this your termination notice, both from the company and our marriage. Her jaw dropped. You can't be serious? I've never been more serious in my life, I said. You're fired, effective immediately. I'll have the paperwork ready by tomorrow. And as for our marriage, you'll be hearing from my lawyer. You can't do this, she screamed. I'm your wife. I have rights. Not after what you've done, I said, standing my ground. Get out. She left in a fury, slamming the door behind her. The next day, I met with my lawyer and presented all the evidence. He assured me that I had a strong case for both firing her and proceeding with a divorce on grounds of financial misconduct and infidelity. I also informed the employees about her termination. I didn't go into details, but I made it clear that her actions had jeopardized the company and that I was taking steps to protect it. The team rallied behind me, grateful that I had acted decisively. The legal process moved quickly. With the overwhelming evidence I provided, my lawyer ensured that the divorce proceedings were straightforward. W's attempts to claim a share of the business were shot down in court when her financial misconduct came to light. The judge ruled that her actions had voided any entitlement she might have had. She walked away with nothing but the consequences of her greed. As for the business, it took some time to recover from the damage she had caused. I worked tirelessly to rebuild trust with clients and tighten our financial controls to prevent anything like this from happening again. The team stepped up, and together, we not only restored the company's reputation, but took it to new heights. Months later, I heard through mutual acquaintances that W was struggling. Her ex, the same man she had funded with my money, had cut ties with her, and she was reportedly bouncing between low-paying jobs. Part of me felt vindicated, but mostly I felt relief. She was no longer my problem. Looking back, I realized how easily I had ignored the red flags in the name of love and trust. But that experience taught me a valuable lesson. Trust is earned, not given blindly, and entitlement has no place in a partnership, be it in business or marriage. If there's one thing to take away from my story, it's this. Always protect yourself, even from those you think you can trust. And if someone shows you who they truly are, believe them the first time. If you enjoyed this story of exposing betrayal and reclaiming control, hit that subscribe button. Life's too short to let toxic people drag you down. Stay tuned for more tales of resilience and justice.